So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm just clipping back my hair so it's not in my face while I'm doing this look, and then I'm jumping right into the Maybelline Master Prime Primer, and I just like to place this all over the face, and I want to make sure that it is all rubbed in. So now I'm going into this Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in the shade Desert Beige, and I will say that this is definitely one of the best drugstore foundations out there. I believe it is only $5, which is a really good price. It has good coverage and it does have a nice shade range. The only thing is it does dry down fast, so if you make the marks like I do, you're going to have to work really fast. And if you are someone who likes to take their time with their foundation, then I would definitely work in sections. But besides that, it is a super good foundation that gives you great coverage. So now I'm jumping into the Tarte Shape Tape, and I am in the shade Tan Sand. And when I apply, I like to apply in triangular shapes, and just be sure when you're applying your concealer you don't go too heavy with the product, because that will cause creasing underneath the under eyes, and you definitely don't want that. And when you are blending it in, just be sure to keep it in that general location that you applied it to, because this will give you the illusion of brighter under eyes, which gives you the appearance of being more awake. So now I'm jumping in with this NYX Conceal Correct Contour Kit, and I will be using the middle shade on the left, which I point to in just a second, just so you guys know exactly what shade I am talking about. And with this allows me to further the illusion of brighter under eyes, and I place this right on the edge of the triangles that I had created with the Tarte Shape Tape. And this formula is more creamy and is a little bit thicker than the Tarte Shape Tape, so I do not like to go directly under the eyes with this, just because it causes me to crease up. And as you guys see, I place this on the center of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and the center of my chin. So now I'm going back in with this tiny little beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend this into the foundation. And like I said with the Tarte Shape Tape, you do want to keep this in the general area that you had applied it in. So now I'm taking this Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Cream Kit, and then I will be using this tiny little brush right here, and I will be placing this right on the sides of my temples, the hollows of my cheeks, and then the jawline. And then when you contour, this is just allowing you to give shape to your face, because when you go in with foundation and concealer, your face can look a little flat. So this is allowing you to bring dimension back into your face. So now I'm going to take that cream contour, and I'm just going on the sides of my nose and just the end of my nose, and this is just going to make my nose look a little bit smaller. So now I'm going in with this flat top brush from It's Cosmetics, and I believe this is supposed to be used for foundation, but I honestly use brushes for whatever works best for me. And I'm just going in and blending out this cream contour, which is super important because if you don't blend it out right, then you will have harsh lines on your face, which you don't want because you want everything to look as natural as possible. So just make sure that you really blend this into the skin, even if it does take a long time, because I spend a lot of time blending, but just the outcome of your look, it just definitely pays off to make sure that you blend in everything. And also when you're blending it in, make sure that you blend it into the hairline because you don't want just an abrupt stop. So just blend it all the way back into the hairline. And now I'm going in with this Mercier Secret Brightening Powder for the under eyes, and I will be using a Real Techniques brush. And again, I don't know what this brush is supposed to be used for, but I use it for this because it works the best for me. And I'm going in and just placing this under the eyes, and when you guys do this, don't use too much powder because too much powder causes a cakey look, which you don't want because it just looks bad. So now I'm going in with this Urban Decay Loose Finishing Powder in medium dark, and I'm going in with this Real Techniques brush, and I'm just going to dip the brush in and then tap off the excess powder and then just lightly powder my face because again, too much powder will give you a cakey effect. So now I'm going in with this Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette, and I will be using a brush to combine the two shades Lyric, which is in the middle, and then the shade Lucid, which is on the side. And I'm going to place this on the center of my forehead, then down the bridge of my nose, and on the center of my chin, just to set where I'd place the NYX Conceal Correct Contour Kit. So now I'm going into this Benefit Cheekathons palette, which is definitely one of my favorite face palettes because it just has basically everything inside of it. And I'm using this brush and I'm going to dip it into Hoola, which is my favorite bronzer ever. And I'm just placing this where I had put the cream contour, and I'm making sure that I blend this in because if you don't, then you're just going to create harsh lines on your face, and you do want your look to look as natural as possible, which is why blending is super important. So just definitely blend out your bronzer. So here I am jumping into the Tarteist Pro Glow palette, which is one of my favorite face palettes along with the Cheekathon palette. And inside here I'm going to be jumping into the shade Sculpt, and I'm going to be placing this on the outer edges of where I had just placed the bronzer. This step is totally optional because you've already got the bronzer on there, adding shape and dimension to the face along with the cream contour that we put. But I just take this extra step because I do want more dimension and shape to my face, and that is basically all I'm doing here, as you can see. And then you are just going to want to take a bigger brush and then just blend it into the bronzer, but again, just keep this in the general area that you applied it to. So here I'm going into a Wet n Wild blush, and this is one of my favorite blushes ever. It is definitely a go-to for me. The shade is Berry Shimmer. I think it has a beautiful color to it. It's got some gold shimmer in it, so it looks stunning on the skin. And I'm just taking this MAC blush brush right here, and I'm dipping into the product and tapping off the excess, because with this blush a little bit goes a long way since it is super pigmented. And for me, I just like blush to add a little bit of color to the face, so I don't apply too much, just enough so I can see some color. But if you are someone who does like blush, then you can apply as much as desired. So now I'm taking this Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Eden, which is definitely one of my favorite eyeshadow primers. It is, again, a go-to for me. And I just take the little applicator that it comes with, and I'm just going to use my fingertips to blend it in and make sure that it is covering my whole entire eye. So for this look, the first eyeshadow palette I'm using is the Jaclyn Hill palette. So now I'm jumping into this light brown shade called Butter, and this is going to act as the transition shade for this eye look. So one of the most important things to do when creating a eye look is you want to make sure that your colors are blended in really good. So I am taking my time to really make sure that this has gotten all in the crease, and I am kind of taking it a little bit above the crease just because it's acting as the transition shade, but also a little bit of the base shade. But just make sure that you blend it in. So now I'm taking this brown shade right next to the one that I had just used, and I believe this one is pronounced Pooter, but basically I'm just using this to define the crease a little bit more, so I'm putting it in the same area that I had just put the one previously. So now I'm jumping into the Morphe 35B Colorful Burst palette, and I'm using this navy blue shade, and this palette doesn't have any names for the colors, so it's just the navy blue shade. And throughout this process, you're going to see me just layering up the color because I really want to build up the intensity of the color. So basically just layer it till it is the color of your liking. So to create the golden halo look that I'm going for, I am using the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow, and this is in the shade Smoldering Satin, and I'm just placing this in the center of my eyelid. So here I'm just fanning the liquid eyeshadow because it is, as I said, liquid eyeshadow, so you just want it to dry so it doesn't transfer to somewhere that you don't want it to be. So now I'm going into this darker brown shade right here called Central Park, and I'm going to place this on the outer V of my eye, and this is going to add some dimension to the look, and it's going to give off a semi-smoky appearance to the look. So I'm just dragging this darker brown shade only halfway to the crease, so right above the pupil of the eye, and it's, like I said, just creating more of a smoky effect. So now I'm going into this Sonia Kashuk palette, and I will be using this black shade, and this is one of the best black eyeshadows I have found because it is super pigmented and I love that. And I am placing this on my lash line, but I'm keeping it towards the outer edge of my eye. And then I will be going back in with the same brush that I had placed Central Park with, and I'm just blending these two colors together to build up the intensity of the eye look. So now I'm taking this Colourpop eyeshadow in the shade Sailor, and I am just wetting this MAC brush with the Mario Badescu Rose Water, and I'm just placing this on the inner corners of my eye to add some highlight. So now going back into this dark brown called Central Park, I am just laying this under the lower lash line to just smoke out that under eye area. So now I'm going to be using this Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil, and I can get away with using the shade 5 or the shade 6, but right here I am using shade number 5. So for my eyebrows, it's pretty simple for me because I just follow the natural shape of my eyebrow, and I start by going underneath the eyebrow, and then I move to the top, and I kind of fill it in where I feel like it needs to be filled in, and then I just kind of flick it out for that little tail right there, and that's basically all I do. So now I'm just using this eyelash curler, and I'm just going to go in and curl my eyelashes. So now I'm using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and this is one of the best mascaras I have ever used because I really do see it building up the volume and not creating clumps. So now I'm taking this NYX little mini soft matte lip cream in the shade Los Angeles, and I'm just placing this all over the lips. Now I'm taking this NYX lipstick in the shade Push Up, and I'm just placing this right on the center of my lips to create sort of an ombre effect. So now I'm going in with this Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Tells No Tales, and this is part of a Lorac collection, and this is in the shade Trident, and I'm using the lip gloss, and I'm just placing this right where I placed that NYX lipstick. So now I'm going in with this Anastasia Beverly Hills Dream Glow Kit, and I'm using the shade Magic. So now I'm just taking it and I'm placing it on the high point of my cheekbones, and after that I will also be placing it right on the tip of my nose. Now the last step I'm doing is I'm going in with this Mario Badescu Rose Water just to set the face. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see any other videos, just leave suggestions down in the comment section. Thank you and bye.